But this is a great exercise, and if you haven't done this on a regular basis, you're going to feel really sore right in here the next day. Hey guys, Mark McKill here with Live Anabolic, and today I've got 4 great exercises for you to build a big back at home using nothing but some cheap $20 set of resistance bands. All right, now typically I prefer doing these exercises at the gym with those big cable machines, you know, the cable crossover machines. Well, guess what? Those things cost $2,500, maybe $3,000 for one of those machines, where we can do the same exercises at home with $20 worth of equipment. Now, granted, the cable machines really do work better than these resistance bands, but we can still do the same movements, all right? And I'm gonna show you some tricks on how you can get the most bang for your buck doing these exercises at home. What most guys don't realize is when they look in the mirror, they see their chest and their shoulders. You don't see your back. So most guys, young guys, old guys, doesn't matter, don't put enough emphasis on their back muscles. And it's a big, strong group of muscles. It's not just one muscle. It's actually 17 distinct muscle groups in your back. And so most guys just don't work it much. What I want you to do someday, if you're at the gym or someplace, pay attention to a guy with a great physique and look at his back and notice how important that is to his overall physique. It really makes a huge difference. So I have a young buddy, 30 years younger than me. All right, his name's Austin Sullivan. He's a captain in the Marine Reserves. And 4 years ago, Austin and I created a military-style workout program, a 3-month workout program. We sell it on our website. It's called Warrior Strong. Fantastic product. He and I are both very proud of it. But when we were shooting the program, there's a scene where he and I are jogging with our shirts off. And we run past the camera, and the camera is shooting us from behind. And we're running right next to each other. And when he saw that video, and he noticed that my back was way bigger and more impressive than his, he basically woke up to the fact that he had kind of been neglecting his back for years. Well, that was 4 years ago. All right, now the video you're seeing on screen as I'm talking to you is what he looks like now. Look at the difference. The guy is an animal now. His back has grown exponentially, and guess what? It's made his overall physique look way, way more impressive. All right, so that's what you can accomplish. And he didn't do it overnight. I mean, it took him 4 years, but he didn't realize and really wake up to the fact that his back was lacking until he saw a video of myself and him together jogging away from the camera. So that's how important it is to focus on your back, guys. And most people really just don't spend much time doing it. All right, now before I get into the 4 different exercises, I want to explain one important thing on how to set up your resistance band. So most guys are going to be doing them like I got this set up right now. This is an anchor, and it goes through to the other side. There's a big ball that can't come through the gap, all right? So this is the easy, quick way to do it, all right? But the problem is, see where this anchor point is? It's basically right here at the top of your door, all right? And to get the most out of these exercises, it's really good to have a good stretch in these bands at the beginning of the movement. And that's hard to do, all right, just sitting on the floor. You'll get some stretch, but not as much as I like. Now, I've shot these videos before at a different house I owned. And at my other house, I had a setup in my garage, and I had these big, heavy-duty hooks screwed in to the rafters in my garage, okay? And we're going to show it right now on screen. Now, when you do that, it means you move the anchor point from here all the way up to the ceiling, so you got an extra foot or more of stretch in these bands when you're doing the exact same exercise. So if you can get away with it, I know your girlfriend or wife might not want you drilling a hole in your ceiling and mounting these in the studs, okay? You don't mount it in the sheetrock, all right? But if you can get away with it, if you have a garage, or if you don't mind doing it in one of your guest bedrooms, you will get way more benefit out of these exercises. You will feel a big difference. All right, so the first three of these exercises, and I designed them in this order to make it easier on you guys, all have a high anchor point. So when I say high anchor or mid anchor or low anchor, I'm just talking about where the bands are anchored relative to you, to your height standing up. So the first three are all going to use a high anchor point, and the first exercise is called a lat pull down. So guys, I got to get all the way down here, all right, on my ass, all right? Now, if I sit over here close to the door, all right, at the top here with my arms fully extended, man, I got no tension in these bands at all, all right? And that's why if you had the anchor mounted in a stud up on the ceiling, I could sit here and I would already have really good tension in these things, all right? So to make do, I have to move away from the door, okay? So now, with my arms fully extended, I do have a little bit of tension, all right? Now, I'm not using enough bands here. I'm using lighter resistance than I normally would, just so I can talk to you guys and show you the form, all right? But these lat pull downs, you want to get a full stretch, all right? Get those hands all the way up, and then I want you to focus on bringing your elbows down to your sides and back behind you as far as you can. And then I like to look straight ahead and down slightly. And I keep a nice slow tempo here, all right? And now, if it's too easy for you guys, you know, load up with all the bands that came with your set, and then at the bottom, hold it for a 1, 2, 3 count, and then slowly bring your hands back up, full stretch at the top. Come down, bring your elbows as far down as you can, and then as far back behind you as you can. Hold it for a 3 count, and then slowly release the handles back up to the top. All right, so remember, lots of different muscle groups in your back, and that's why I've got 4 different exercises, trying to hit all those muscle groups from different angles, all right? So the second exercise is called a face pull. Now, guys, I shouldn't have to tell you or remind you this, but it's really important that you have a good, strong anchor point, that thing is not going to pull out, all right? Simple as that, especially with this exercise. Face pulls, I got to step away from the anchor, because at the very beginning of the movement, I want there to be some tension already existing in these bands. You know, if you're standing too close to the door, all right, the first half of the movement, there's almost no resistance, all right? That's the drawback to resistance bands versus the cable machines, all right? Cable machines have full resistance at every point along the range of motion, all right? So, step back from the anchor point. I got to lean back here. I got some pretty good tension here. And face pulls, I want you to focus on bringing your elbows back and up as high as you can get them, up near your ears, okay? Straight forward towards the anchor, and then bring this back. If that anchor pulls out of that door, it's going to smack me in the face, and I mean hard. You're not going to be a happy camper. Bring those elbows back. Don't concentrate on the handles so much. Focus on bringing your elbows back as far as you can and as high as you can. So don't bring them down here. Yes, that will work your back, but we're going to do a different exercise for that. So this is working our rhomboids and our traps and our rear delts and our shoulders. Great exercise that most guys don't even know about. So the third exercise also uses a high anchor point, guys. And these are called straight arm pull downs, all right? So it's basically hitting a lot of the same muscles as the lat pull downs, but from a completely different angle, okay? So remember, guys, you got to step away from the anchor point. So I want you to have some tension, all right? So straight arms, bend over at the waist, and I'm going to be looking down at the floor slightly in front of me, all right? And I'm going to focus this time on bringing the handles down and behind me. You won't be able to use as much resistance on this exercise for a couple of reasons. Due to your straight arms here and the way you're pulling and rotating, the bands have a lot of physical advantage over you from a physics standpoint. They have more leverage over your back, basically. And secondly, we're using smaller muscle groups in our back to perform this exercise. But this is a great exercise, and if you haven't done this on a regular basis, you're gonna feel really sore right in here the next day. Okay, so the last exercise, we gotta move the anchor point. And I put these exercises in this order so you don't have to move the anchor point back and forth every time you change exercise, only once. So move the anchor point from up high to low, and I gotta slide this little ball, okay, in under the door, and I bring it all the way over here close to the door hinges. This is a stronger part of the door than over here, all right? So now, I'm testing it. There's no way that big ball can fit through this tiny little crack, okay? So I know it's safe. All right, here we go. Last one is a seated row. Now these are big muscles that we're using in our back. So you're gonna be able to use a lot of different bands here, you know, a lot of band weight. All right, so guys, you can sit several different ways. I'm gonna try it cross-legged. You can do it with your legs sticking straight forward. Just kind of, it doesn't really particularly matter, all right? It's not gonna affect the exercise. Find the method that feels best to you, all right? And remember, I want a lot of pre-stretch here in these bands, all right? Because I'm starting with my hands straight forward, okay? Keeping a nice straight back, and I'm just gonna focus on bringing those elbows back. All right, so the elbows are coming back and low, straight back. 1, 2, 3, slow release. 1, 2, 3. Big muscle group, and you got a lot of your body, your muscles have a lot of leverage over the bands in this case, unlike the straight arm pull downs. This is a really strong movement here. A lot of you guys may have to load up with every single band in your set to feel it. And if that's not hard enough, I want you to sit back even further so you get even more band resistance, all right? The further you are from the anchor, the heavier those bands are gonna feel. All right, so 4 great exercises for your back. You can do it at home with, what, $20 worth of resistance bands. And hopefully I got across the importance of your back, especially with the story of my buddy Austin and his before and after pictures that we showed you. But he didn't do that overnight. It took him years of hard, consistent work to build that really cool, impressive back. You guys need to have the same mentality. And remember, you got to stick with it and never give up on yourself.